The silver ships moved through space like hunting birds. Fleet Commander Deho watched the blue planet grow larger on his screen. Earth, the humans called it, another world to add to the Valtech Empire. Deho had done this 47 times before. 47 different species had bowed before Valtech power. The pattern was always the same. Show up with enough ships to block out their sun, destroy something impressive but not too important, wait for them to surrender, easy. "Sir, we are getting signals from the planet," reported his communications officer. "They want to talk," Deho smiled. They always wanted to talk. "Put them through." The screen flickered and showed a human female. She had dark hair and wore simple clothes. No fancy uniform or crown. These humans did not even know how to present themselves to their new masters. "I am Hyojin, speaking for the people of Earth," the human said. Her voice was calm. "We welcome you to our system. We hope we can be friends." "Friends?" Deho almost laughed. "I am Fleet Commander Deho of the Valtech Empire. You will surrender your world to us. Do this and your people will be treated well." The human woman tilted her head. "I am sorry, but we cannot do that. Earth is our home, but we are willing to talk about trade and friendship." Behind Hyojin, Deho could see another human, a male with sharp eyes who said nothing. He just watched and listened. Something about that man made Deho feel uncomfortable. "You do not understand," Deho said. "This is not a request. The Valtech Empire has conquered 300 star systems. 47 different species serve us now. You will be the 48th. "We understand what you are saying," Hyojin replied. "But Earth is not for sale or conquest. We are happy to be neighbors, but we will not be servants." The silent human behind her made notes on a small device. His name tag read Taiman. He looked like a soldier, though he wore no uniform. Deho felt his patience running out. These humans were being difficult. "Time to show them reality. Look at your moon," he ordered. The human woman frowned. "Our moon? Why?" "Just look." Deho gave a signal to his weapons officer. One of his ships fired a single beam at the small moon orbiting Earth. The moon turned to dust and floating rocks in seconds. On the screen, Hyojin's face went pale. Behind her, other humans started shouting. But Taemin just kept watching Deho. The man's eyes had gone very cold. "That was your moon," Deho said. "One shot from one ship. I have 200 ships here. Imagine what we could do to your cities." Hyojin took a deep breath. When she spoke again, her voice shook a little. That was not necessary. Many of our people loved that moon. You killed something beautiful for no reason." "I killed it to show you the truth," Deho said. "Your weapons cannot hurt us. Your ships are toys compared to ours. Surrender now and no one needs to die." The human woman looked back at Taimin. The man stepped forward and whispered something in her ear. She nodded. "Commander Deho," Hyojin said. "We need time to discuss this with our leaders. Can you give us one day?" "One day," Deho agreed. This was normal too. The new species always needed time to accept reality. But do not try anything foolish. "We are watching." The screen went dark. Deho leaned back in his chair. Another easy conquest. By tomorrow, these humans would be begging to serve the Empire. They always did. On Earth, Hyojin sat down hard in her chair. Around her, the first contact team was talking in loud, angry voices. "They destroyed the moon," someone shouted.
"Just like that."
"We should have known this would happen," said another. "Aliens who travel between stars looking for new worlds. They are not explorers. They are conquerors." Taemin stood quietly by the window, looking up at the sky where the moon used to be. Only scattered pieces remained, catching sunlight like broken glass. "What do you think?" Hyojin asked him. Taemin was a military advisor. His job was to watch and learn about potential enemies. He had listened to every word the alien commander said. "They are used to winning quickly," he said. "They expect us to give up after they show their power. They think destroying the moon will make us afraid." "Are you afraid?" Hyojin asked. Taemin looked at her. "No, I am angry. They came to our home and broke something we loved. They think that makes them strong. What should we tell them tomorrow?" "Tell them no." Hyojin stared at him. "They have 200 ships. Each one can destroy a moon. They said they have conquered 47 other species. Maybe those other species were smart to surrender," Taemin said. "But humans are not smart that way. We do not like bullies." That night, Taemin sent reports to Earth's military leaders. He included everything he had observed about the Valtech ships, their weapons, and their commander's attitude. The aliens thought they were dealing with another weak species that would roll over and show its belly at the first sign of trouble. They thought humans were like all the others. They were wrong. The next day, Hyojin faced the alien commander again. Daeho looked pleased with himself. "Have your leaders made their decision?" he asked. "Yes," Hyojin said. "We will not surrender." Daeho's smile faded. "What? Earth is our home. We will not give it to you. We do not want to fight, but we will not be slaves." "You are making a mistake," Daeho said. His voice was harder now. "I showed you what one ship could do. I have 200 ships." Behind Hyojin, Taemin stepped forward. "We saw what you did to our moon. Now we know what kind of people you are. I am giving you one last chance," Daeho said. "Surrender now or face the consequences." "No," Hyojin said simply. Daeho cut the connection. He stared at the dark screen for a long moment. "In 300 years of expansion, no species had ever said no twice, sir," his communications officer asked. "What are your orders?" "Prepare for conquest," Daeho said. "If they want to do this the hard way, we will show them why that is a bad choice." He called for reinforcements, not because he needed them, but because he wanted to make an example of these stubborn humans. When other species heard what happened to Earth, they would remember to surrender quickly. But as his ships moved into attack position, Daeho felt something he had not felt in a long time. Uncertainty, the way that human soldier had looked at him, the calm way the woman had said no. Maybe humans were different from the other species they had conquered. Maybe they would fight longer before giving up. It did not matter. The Valtech Empire had never lost a war. They would not start losing now. What Daeho did not know was that across human space fleets were moving. Ships built for one purpose that the Valtech Empire had never needed to understand. Humans did not build ships to conquer. They built ships to destroy. The war was about to begin. And the Valtech Empire was about to learn something that would change everything they thought they knew about warfare. Some species fight to win. Humans fight to end the fight forever. War strategist Seok Jin stood before the Valtech High Command. The Great Hall was carved from black stone, with pillars that reached toward a ceiling painted with the conquered worlds of the Empire. 47 different suns shone down on the assembly. "The humans have refused surrender," Seok Jin announced. "This has never happened before after a demonstration of power." Emperor Kyungsu leaned forward on his crystal throne. "Explain their mistake to me." Seok Jin activated a holographic display. It showed the successful conquests of the past 1,000 years. "Every species follows the same pattern, my emperor. We arrive, we demonstrate superior firepower. They realize resistance is futile. They surrender. We integrate them into the empire." The display showed battle after battle, but they were not really battles. They were demonstrations. The Valtech would destroy a military base or an empty space station. The defending species would see the power gap and give up. "The Zelthari surrendered after we destroyed 3 of their orbital platforms," Seok Jin continued. "The Morphins gave up when we disabled their defense fleet without destroying it. The Quilnans lasted longest. They fought for 6 hours before accepting reality." Admiral Chanwu stood up. He was old and had commanded more conquests than any other Valtech. "What makes these humans think they are different?" "Unknown," Seok Jin admitted. "Their technology is primitive. Their ships are smaller than ours. They have no energy shields or plasma weapons. By all logic, they should have surrendered immediately." "Perhaps they do not understand what they face," suggested another admiral. "Some species are slower to learn." Emperor Kyungsu made a gesture of dismissal. "It does not matter why they resist. Chanwu, take the 3rd Fleet to their system. Show them what real war looks like." Admiral Chanwu bowed. "How hard should we hit them, my emperor?" "Hard enough to break their will quickly. We do not want this to drag on. Other species are watching. If humans resist too long, others might get ideas." "Understood. I will capture their major population centers and industrial worlds. Once they see their people in chains, they will beg for mercy." In human space, Mi Young worked late into the night. She was part of Earth's intelligence service, and her job was to understand enemies. Right now, she was studying every piece of information they had gathered about the Valtech Empire. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought humans would react like other species. But humans were not like other species. Mi Young pulled up files on Valtech military history. What she found was interesting. The Valtech had never fought a real war. Every conquest was more like a police action. They showed up, made threats, and the other side gave up. They do not know how to fight, she said to her assistant. They only know how to intimidate. What do you mean? Mi-young showed him the battle records. Look at these numbers. In their conquest of the Hendrani system, they fired weapons for exactly 43 minutes. Total Valtech casualties, 0. Total enemy casualties, 112. That is not very many for a space battle. Exactly. It was not a battle. The Hendrani fired a few shots. The Valtech fired back and hit some ships, and the Hendrani immediately surrendered. The Valtech think that is what war looks like. Mi-young pulled up more files. Human military history looked very different. Humans had fought each other for thousands of years. They knew what real war meant. Send this analysis to Fleet Command, she ordered. The Valtech are used to fighting people who give up easily. They have never faced an enemy that fights back. Meanwhile, Admiral Chan Wu prepared his fleet for the jump to Earth system. He had 60 ships, more than enough to handle these stubborn humans. What is our strategy? Asked his second-in-command. Simple, Chan Wu replied. We jump in, destroy a few orbital stations, maybe hit one of their smaller cities. They will see we are serious and surrender within hours. Should we prepare for extended combat? Chan Wu laughed. Extended combat? Against primitives? We will be home in time for the Festival of Suns. The Valtech fleet jumped through hyperspace toward Earth. They carried weapons designed to disable and capture, not to destroy completely. Their boarding shuttles were ready to take prisoners. Their troop carriers held soldiers trained to occupy cities, not level them. Everything about their military was built around the idea that the enemy would surrender quickly. Why waste resources destroying what you plan to rule? But the humans were preparing for something very different. On Mars, Commander Bong-Su watched his fleet form up. Unlike the Valtech ships, which were large and impressive, human vessels looked like tools. They were built for one job, destroying other ships. Sir, intelligence reports the enemy fleet will arrive in 6 hours. His tactical officer Du-hyun reported. Good. Are all ships ready? Yes, sir. All weapons loaded, all crews at battle stations. Bong-Su looked at the tactical display. The human fleet was smaller than what the aliens were bringing. But humans had learned something in their long history of war that the Valtech had never needed to learn. It did not matter how many ships you had. It only mattered how many ships you had left when the battle ended. Sir, Do-hyun said quietly, the aliens think this will be like their other conquests. They expect us to give up after they hit us a few times. I know. What if they try to surrender when they realize their mistake? Commander Bong-Su was quiet for a moment. In human history, there were rules about accepting surrender. But there were also times when surrender was not accepted. When the enemy had done something unforgivable. They destroyed our moon, he said finally. They came to our home and broke something beautiful just to scare us. They think they can make us slaves. Yes, sir. Du-hyun, send a message to all ships. When the aliens arrive, we fight until every last one of their ships is space dust. No prisoners. No survivors. No second chances, sir. Are you sure? That is not how we usually— This is not usual. Bong-Su cut him off. They want to take our world and make our children into slaves. This is not a normal war between armies. This is a war for survival. Du-hyun nodded. He sent the message to the fleet. On every human ship, captains read the same words. Fight until they are all dead. Show them what happens when someone threatens Earth. In the empty space between Mars and Jupiter, the Valtech fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Admiral Chan Wu looked at his displays and smiled. The human fleet was waiting for them just as he expected. How many ships do they have? He asked. 37, sir. All smaller than our cruisers. Send them a surrender demand. When they refuse, we will destroy a few ships and they will come to their senses. The message was sent. The humans replied quickly. What do they say? Chan Wu asked. His communications officer looked confused. They say we should leave now while we still can. Chan Wu laughed. They are threatening us? With 37 little ships against our 60? Sir, should we begin the demonstration attack? Yes. Hit their flagship with enough power to disable it but not destroy it. These humans need to learn respect. The Valtech fleet moved forward in perfect formation. They had done this many times before. It always worked. But as they closed the distance to the human fleet, something felt different. The humans were not trying to talk. They were not begging for mercy. They were just waiting. Sir, the sensor officer said, the human ships are not running. Of course not. They are too primitive to know they should run. No, sir. I mean, they are not even trying to get away. They are coming toward us. Admiral Chan Wu looked at his display. The human ships were indeed moving forward. But that made no sense. Everyone knew you were supposed to run when faced with superior firepower. That was how intelligent species behaved. Maybe they want to surrender in person, he said. But something cold was growing in his stomach. The human fleet continued to advance. No demands for mercy. No requests to talk. No attempts to escape. They were coming to fight. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Chan Wu began to wonder if the Valthek Empire had made a serious mistake. The first shots were fired at 1432 ship time. Admiral Chan Wu ordered his flagship to target the lead human vessel with a disabling blast. It was meant to knock out their engines and weapons without destroying the ship completely, standard procedure for dealing with defiant primitives. The blast hit the human ship directly. Chan Wu expected to see the vessel drift helplessly in space, its crew ready to surrender. Instead, the human ship exploded. What happened? Chan Wu demanded. Sir, our disabling beam completely destroyed their ship, his weapons officer reported. Their hull must be much weaker than we thought. Captain Yunji, commanding the cruiser Divine Wind, watched from her position in the battle line. Something was wrong. The human ship had not just been destroyed, it had been vaporized. There was nothing left but glowing gas and metal fragments. Sir, her tactical officer said, the humans are returning fire. Chan Wu saw the human weapons on his display. Primitive kinetic missiles and energy beams. Nothing that could seriously damage a Valtech warship. The human missiles struck the Divine Wind first. Captain Yunji felt her ship shake. Then shake again. Then the lights went out. Damage report, she shouted in the darkness. Emergency lighting came on. Her engineering officer's voice was filled with panic. Captain, they punched completely through our armor. Decks 7 through 12 are gone. We have massive hull breaches on both sides. That is impossible. Those were primitive missiles. Ma'am, I do not think they were trying to disable us. More human weapons hit the Divine Wind. Each impact tore away pieces of the ship. Hunji realized with growing horror that the humans were not firing to capture or disable. They were firing to destroy. All ships return fire, Admiral Chan Wu ordered. Full power. The Valtech fleet opened up with everything they had. Plasma beams and quantum torpedoes lit up space. Several human ships vanished under the barrage, but the humans did not retreat. They did not ask for mercy. They kept coming. On the human flagship, Commander Bong Su watched the tactical display with cold eyes. They had lost 6 ships in the opening exchange. The aliens were powerful, just as intelligence had warned. Sir, we are taking heavy casualties, Tactical Officer Do Hyun reported. Understood. Continue the attack. Sir, the Koreans are requesting permission to withdraw and regroup. Denied. Press the attack. Do Hyun looked shocked. Sir, we could pull back and— No. Bong Su's voice was ice. They came to our home. They destroyed our moon. They want to make slaves of our children. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. We make them pay for every meter of space. The human fleet split into 3 groups and attacked the Valtech formation from multiple angles. Their ships were smaller and faster than the alien vessels. They darted between the massive Valtech cruisers like angry hornets. Captain Yunji watched a human destroyer race past her ship. The little vessel was damaged and trailing atmosphere, but it kept fighting. Its weapons hammered her ship's flank as it passed. Why do they not retreat? She asked her bridge crew. They must know they cannot win. Her communications officer was monitoring human radio chatter. Captain, I think they do not care if they win. What do you mean? They are not trying to defeat us. They are trying to kill us. All of us. Another human ship rammed directly into a Valtech cruiser. Both vessels exploded in a ball of nuclear fire. The human pilot had sacrificed his entire crew just to destroy one enemy ship. Admiral Chan Wu stared at his displays in disbelief. They are insane. No species fights like this. Sir, the Divine Wind is reporting critical damage. Captain Unji requests permission to withdraw. Granted. All damaged ships fall back. But as the Divine Wind tried to retreat, human fighters swarmed after it. They chased the wounded ship like sharks following blood in the water. Sir, Yunji's communications officer screamed. They are not letting us retreat. They are following us. The human fighters caught the Divine Wind at the edge of the battle area. Their weapons were small but precise. They targeted the ship's engines and life support systems. Within minutes, the proud Valtech cruiser was a dead hulk floating in space. "Sir," one of Yunji's officers said quietly, "should we surrender?" Yunji tried to contact the human fighters. "Human vessels, this is Captain Yunji of the Valtech ship Divine Wind. We surrender. Please respond." The human fighters did not respond. They kept firing. "They are not accepting our surrender." Yunji shouted into her radio. "We surrender. Stop shooting." The humans did not stop. They fired until the Divine Wind exploded. There were no survivors. Admiral Chanwu watched the destruction of the Divine Wind with growing terror. In 300 years of Valtech expansion, no enemy had ever refused to accept surrender. "Sir, we have lost 12 ships," his tactical officer reported. "The humans have lost 18, but they are not stopping." Signal retreat. "All ships withdraw immediately." "Sir, the humans are pursuing our retreating vessels." Chanwu looked at his display. It was true. As Valtech ships tried to escape the battle, human vessels followed them. The humans were not content to drive them away. They wanted to destroy every single alien ship. "This is not how warfare works," Chanwu whispered. "You fight until one side surrenders or retreats. Then the fighting stops." His aide looked at him with fear in her eyes. "Sir, I do not think the humans understand those rules." 3 more Valtech ships were caught by pursuing human forces. They tried to surrender. They broadcast pleas for mercy in every language they knew. The humans ignored all of them and destroyed the ships completely. Back on Earth, Taiman watched the battle reports with satisfaction. The Valtech had expected humans to fight like all the other species they had conquered. They expected a short, controlled conflict followed by quick surrender. Instead, they got a human war. "Sir," his aide said, "Fleet Command is asking if we should accept surrender from the remaining alien ships." Taiman thought about the moon. About the casual way the aliens had destroyed something beautiful just to make a point. About their arrogant demand that humans become slaves. "No," he said. "No prisoners. No surrender. They wanted to fight us, so we fight them, all the way to the end." The battle raged for 6 more hours. When it finally ended, 51 of the 60 Valtech ships had been destroyed. The remaining 9 had escaped only because their hyperspace drives were faster than human ships. Of the 37 human vessels that started the fight, 11 remained functional. 26 ships and their entire crews had died to protect Earth, but they had won. Admiral Chanwu's flagship was one of the ships that escaped. As they jumped away from the battlefield, he looked back at the debris field where most of his fleet had died. "Sir, what do we tell the Emperor?" his communications officer asked. Chanwu was quiet for a long time. "How do you explain that everything the Empire thought it knew about warfare was wrong?" "Tell him," Chanwu said finally, "that the humans do not fight wars. They fight massacres." On the human flagship, Commander Bongsu surveyed the damage to his fleet. They had paid a terrible price, but they had sent a message to the galaxy. "Sir," Do-hyun said, "intelligence reports that other Valtech fleets are moving toward human space. This was just the first wave." "Good," Bongsu replied. "Let them come. Let them all come. The more of them we kill here, the fewer will be left to threaten other innocent worlds." Do-hyun stared at his commander. "Sir, we just lost 26 ships and thousands of crew members. How can you say it is good that more enemies are coming?" Bongsu looked out at the stars where human and alien debris drifted together in death. "Because," he said quietly, "now they know what kind of species they are dealing with, and maybe, just maybe, they will think twice before they destroy another moon just to scare children." In Valtech space, the news of the defeat spread quickly. For the first time in the Empire's history, a conquest fleet had been destroyed. Not defeated, destroyed. Emperor Kyung-soo called an emergency meeting of the High Command. "How is this possible?" he demanded. 60 ships against 37 primitives? "The humans do not fight like other species," Admiral Chanwu reported. "They do not retreat when outgunned. They do not surrender when defeated. They fight until they die. That is stupid. No intelligent species wastes lives like that." "Yes, my emperor, but dead enemies cannot hurt you later." For the first time in his long reign, Emperor Kyung-soo felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. Emperor Kyung-soo paced in his private chambers, unable to sleep. The reports from the Sol system made no sense. How could primitives destroy a modern Valtech fleet? He called for war strategist Seok-jin. "Explain this to me again," the emperor demanded. "How did we lose 60 ships to 37 human vessels?" Seok-jin spread holographic displays across the room. "Battle data," Ship specifications and tactical analyses filled the air around them. My Emperor, the humans fight differently than any species we have encountered. When our ships are damaged, they retreat for repairs. When human ships are damaged, they attack harder. That makes no tactical sense. No, my Emperor, it does not. But it is effective. Xiao Jin showed footage from the battle. A human destroyer with half its hull blown away ramming into a Valtech cruiser. Both ships died, but the humans seemed to consider this a fair trade. Look at this, Xiao Jin said. He highlighted a section of the battle where Valtech ships tried to retreat. Our doctrine says that when the enemy withdraws, you let them go. You have won the field, but the humans pursued our ships and destroyed them. They did not accept surrender? No, my Emperor. Captain Yunji of the Divine Wind tried to surrender 3 times. The humans ignored her completely and destroyed her ship. Emperor Kyungsu sat down heavily. In 300 years of expansion, the Valtech had built their empire on a simple principle. Show overwhelming force, accept quick surrender, integrate the defeated. It had worked perfectly for centuries. What do our scholars say about human culture? He asked. Meanwhile on Earth, war historian Sun He briefed the human military leadership. Unlike the Valtech, humans had spent thousands of years studying war. They knew what they were good at. The aliens fight wars to win territory and resources, Sun He explained to General Young Ho and his staff. They show force, the enemy surrenders, everyone goes home. It is very civilized. And humans? Young Ho asked. Humans fight wars to end wars. When we decide someone is a threat, we do not stop until that threat is eliminated completely. Sun He activated a holographic display showing human military history, battles that lasted years, entire civilizations wiped out, cities burned to ash. The Romans salted the earth where Carthage stood so nothing would ever grow there again. When America fought Japan, they did not stop at defeating the Japanese Navy. They destroyed Japan's ability to make war entirely. When humans fight, we fight until the enemy cannot fight back anymore. General Young Ho nodded. The Valtech think they can scare us into surrender by destroying a few ships. They do not understand that attacking Earth means we fight until one of us is extinct. Exactly. They are used to fighting people who think like them. Rational people who surrender when the cost becomes too high. But humans are not rational about survival. Young Ho pulled up star charts showing Valtech space. What do we know about their territory? 300 star systems. Hundreds of billions of people. Thousands of ships. But here is the interesting part. Most of their military is designed for intimidation, not destruction. Big ships with impressive weapons, but built to capture territory, not eliminate enemies. And their logistics? Spread thin. They have conquered so many worlds that their supply lines stretch across half the galaxy. If we could cut those lines, Young Ho smiled grimly. They want to play conquest games with us. Show them what total war looks like. In Valtech space, the emergency session of the High Command continued. Scholar Wu Jin had been brought in to explain human psychology. What did you learn from studying their transmissions? Emperor Kyungsu asked. Wu Jin looked uncomfortable. My Emperor, human culture is built around conflict. Their history is one continuous war interrupted by brief periods of peace. All species have wars. Not like this. Humans have fought wars that lasted 100 years. They have destroyed entire continents with weapons. They have killed millions of their own people over ideas. The Emperor frowned. They fight over ideas? Religion, political systems, racial differences. Humans will fight to the death over abstract concepts. They wrote books about how to kill each other more efficiently. They turned warfare into a science. Wu Jin showed recordings of human entertainment. Movies about war, books about battles, games where children pretended to kill enemies. They celebrate violence, my Emperor. Their heroes are warriors. Their greatest stories are about people who died fighting rather than surrender. But that is barbaric. Yes, my Emperor, but it is also effective. Admiral Chan Wu spoke up. My Emperor, I have been studying the battle recordings. The humans use tactics we have never seen before. Explain. They sacrifice individual ships to damage larger enemy vessels. They pursue retreating forces and destroy them completely. They ignore surrender attempts. Most importantly, they show no concern for their own casualties. No concern for casualties? That is impossible. Every species values the lives of its soldiers, not humans. They seem to consider the death of their own people an acceptable cost if it meant killing more enemies. Emperor Kyungsu felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of species thinks like that? Across the galaxy, General Young-ho was asking his staff the same question about the Valthek. They have conquered 47 species and never fought a real war, Young-ho said. What kind of military force is that effective without ever facing serious resistance? Military psychologist So-jin pulled up analysis of Valthek communications intercepts. They are used to fighting people who think like them, she explained. Rational people who weigh costs and benefits. When the cost of fighting becomes higher than the cost of surrender, most species surrender. But not humans. Not when our survival is at stake. The Valthek made a critical error when they demanded our complete surrender. They did not offer us a choice between slavery and death. They offered us a choice between slavery and fighting. And humans always choose fighting. Always. It is who we are. We would rather die free than live as slaves. Young-ho looked at the star charts again. Valthek space was vast, but it was also vulnerable. All those conquered worlds held down by the threat of force. What would happen if that force was suddenly removed? So Jin, what happens to an empire built on intimidation when the intimidation stops working? It collapses. The Valthek rule through fear. If we can show the galaxy that they can be beaten, the other species will rebel. Exactly. We do not need to conquer the Valthek Empire. We just need to break their image of invincibility. Young-ho called for his fleet commanders. It was time to show the galaxy what human warfare really looked like. Back on the Valthek capital world, Emperor Kyungsoo made a decision that would doom his empire. We cannot let this defeat go unanswered, he declared. If other species think they can resist us like the humans did, our entire empire will fall apart. What are your orders, my emperor? Gather the 1st, 2nd, and 5th fleets. We will crush these humans with overwhelming force. Show the galaxy what happens when someone defies the Valthek Empire. My emperor, Admiral Chanwoo said carefully. Perhaps we should reconsider. The humans fight differently than anyone we have faced before. Maybe we should try negotiation. Negotiation? The emperor's voice was cold. They destroyed 60 ships. They refused surrender. They must be punished. My emperor, with respect, they destroyed 60 ships because we attacked their home. From their perspective, they were defending themselves. I do not care about their perspective. Ready the fleets. Chanwoo bowed his head. He had seen what humans could do when fighting for survival. Sending more ships would only give them more targets to destroy. But he was a soldier. He followed orders. The greatest military force in Valthek history began to assemble. 500 ships from across the empire converged on staging areas near human space. On Earth, intelligence services detected the massive buildup. Sir, Taemin reported to General Young-ho, long-range sensors show Valthek fleets gathering. At least 500 ships. Good. Let them come. Sir, 500 ships is more than our entire navy. Young-ho looked at the tactical displays. Human space was small compared to the Valthek Empire. Earth had maybe 200 ships total, scattered across a dozen systems. But humans had advantages the Valthek did not understand. Taemin, send a message to all human colonies. Tell them the Valthek are coming in force. Tell them what that means, sir. Tell them this is not about territory or resources anymore. This is about extinction. Either we destroy their ability to make war, or they destroy us. What about our civilian populations? Should we evacuate them? Young-ho shook his head. No evacuations. Everyone fights. This is our home. We do not run. The message went out across human space. Not a call for soldiers, but a call for total war. Every human would contribute to the fight. Factory workers would build weapons. Scientists would design new ways to kill enemies. Children would learn to operate defense systems. The Valthek were bringing an army to conquer humanity. Humanity was preparing to show them what genocide looked like. The Valthek Armada was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. 500 ships from across the empire converged on human space like a silver storm. Emperor Kyungsoo watched the fleet reports with satisfaction. This will end the human problem forever, he told his advisors. No species can stand against this much firepower. But Admiral Chanwoo felt only dread. He had seen what humans could do when fighting for survival. More ships just meant more targets. The first battles began at the edge of human space. Small human colonies fought against overwhelming odds. The pattern was always the same. The humans refused to surrender, fought until their defenses were destroyed, then activated something the Valthek had never seen before. civilian evacuation ships that turned out to be bombs, space stations that exploded when boarded, entire planets that destroyed their own infrastructure, rather than let the Valtech capture it intact. They are destroying everything rather than let us have it, reported Captain Jae Sung from the front lines. The humans would rather see their worlds burn than see them conquered. That makes no sense, his communications officer said. If they destroy everything, what is the point of fighting? Jae Sung watched a human mining station explode in a ball of nuclear fire. I think the point is to make sure we gain nothing from attacking them. The Valtech forces pushed deeper into human space, but every victory came at a terrible cost. Human ships appeared from nowhere, struck hard, and vanished. Supply convoys disappeared without a trace. Entire fleets found themselves cut off from reinforcements. On the Valtech capital world, negotiator Inho requested an urgent audience with the Emperor. My Emperor, I believe we should open peace talks with the humans, he said. Peace talks? We are winning, are we? We have lost 150 ships in 2 weeks. Our supply lines are under constant attack. 3 of our major fleets are trapped in human space with no way to retreat. Emperor Kyungsoo looked at the battle reports. The numbers were confusing. Valtech forces controlled more territory than ever before, but they were losing ships faster than they could replace them. The humans cannot keep this up forever, the Emperor said. They have fewer ships than we do. My Emperor, I do not think they are trying to defeat our fleets. I think they are trying to destroy our empire. What do you mean? Inho activated a star map showing Valtech space. Look at these reports from our conquered worlds. The humans are broadcasting messages to all the species we rule. They are telling them that the Valtech can be beaten. Red indicators began appearing across the map. Rebellions on Hindrani worlds, uprisings in the morph systems, Zelthari fleets declaring independence. The other species are revolting, Inho continued. They see us struggling against the humans and think this is their chance for freedom. Send fleets to suppress the rebellions. With what fleets, my Emperor? They are all trapped fighting humans. Across the galaxy, Admiral Ah Young led the human counterattack deep into Valtech space. Her orders were simple. Destroy everything military, leave everything civilian alone. Target their shipyards, she told her fleet commanders. Target their military bases. Target their supply depots. Show the galaxy that the Valtech cannot protect their own territory. The human ships moved like ghosts through Valtech space. They appeared at military installations, destroyed them completely, and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Unlike the Valtech, who fought to capture and control, the humans fought to eliminate and deny. Admiral, her tactical officer reported, we have destroyed the main Valtech shipyard at Kepler 442. That was their primary source of cruiser-class vessels. Good. What is next? The military command center at Wolf 359. Intelligence says it coordinates fleet movements for the entire sector. Destroy it. The human fleet struck again and again. Each attack was surgical, precise, and devastating. They did not try to hold territory. They simply eliminated the Valtech ability to make war. Meanwhile, military psychologist So Jin worked with captured Valtech prisoners. Unlike the humans, the Valtech were very willing to talk when defeated. Your empire is finished, she told a captured admiral. Your fleets are trapped, your shipyards are destroyed, and your conquered worlds are rebelling. Why do you keep fighting? The Valtech officer looked confused. We fight because the Emperor commands it. When he orders surrender, we will surrender. What if the Emperor is dead? Then the next Emperor will give orders. So Jin realized something important. The Valtech Empire was built like a pyramid, with all authority flowing from the top. Cut off the head and the body would die. She sent her analysis to Admiral Ah Young. Back in Valtech space, Inho made one last desperate attempt to save his civilization. My Emperor, the humans have sent a message. They want to talk. They want to surrender? No, my Emperor. They want us to surrender. Emperor Kyungsoo laughed bitterly. Surrender? We still have 300 ships. Trapped ships, my Emperor. Ships with no supplies and no way home. The humans control all the hyperspace routes back to our territory. What do the humans want? Inho read from the message. Complete disarmament of all Valtech military forces. Destruction of all weapons manufacturing facilities. Permanent human observers on all Valtech worlds and... He paused. And what? Trial of the Emperor for crimes against peace. Kyungsoo stood up angrily. They dare demand my surrender? I am the ruler of 300 worlds. My emperor, if we do not accept their terms, they say they will destroy our capital world. Let them try. Our home system has the strongest defenses in the galaxy. But even as he spoke, alerts began sounding throughout the palace. Long-range sensors detected human ships at the edge of the system. Admiral Ah Young's fleet had arrived. Citizens of the Valthek Empire. Her voice echoed across all communication channels. Your military has attacked our homes and threatened our children. Your fleets are destroyed. Your ability to make war is ended. Surrender now and live in peace, or fight and be destroyed completely. Emperor Kyung-Soo looked at his tactical displays. 50 human ships against the defenses of the capital world. Orbital stations, planetary shields, defense fleets. Surely they could stop 50 ships. All forces. Destroy the human fleet, he ordered. The battle for the Valthek capital began and ended in 4 hours. The humans did not try to capture anything. They simply destroyed every military target in the system. Orbital shipyards became clouds of scrap metal. Defense stations vanished in nuclear fire. The mighty Valthek home fleet was reduced to drifting wreckage. But the humans did not attack civilian targets. They did not bombard the planet. They just eliminated every weapon that could threaten them. When the shooting stopped, Admiral Ah Young broadcast again. The Valthek Empire no longer has the ability to wage war. Your military is destroyed. Your fleets are gone. Your weapons factories are ash. You still have your homes, your families, and your lives. That is more mercy than you showed our moon. In the ruins of his palace, Emperor Kyung-Soo finally understood what the humans had done. They had not conquered the Valthek Empire. They had simply erased its ability to threaten anyone. Sir, Inho said quietly, should I prepare the surrender documents? Kyung-Soo looked out at the debris field where his home fleet had died. What choice do we have? None, my emperor. The humans have won. The formal surrender was signed 3 days later, but by then it was just a formality. The Valthek Empire still existed as a political entity, but it would never again threaten another world. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The mighty Valthek Empire, conqueror of 47 species, had been defeated by humans. But more importantly, the humans had shown something new to the galaxy. They had proven that empires built on fear and intimidation could be destroyed. Within a year, every species the Valthek had conquered was free. The galaxy's first truly democratic federation was formed, with humans as founding members but not rulers. On Earth, General Young-ho read the final reports of the war. The Valthek had lost 80% of their military. Humans had lost 60% of theirs. By any measure, it had been a devastating conflict, but they had won something more important than a military victory. They had won the right to exist as free people. Sir, Taemin asked, what do we do now? The Valthek are defenseless. Some people are saying we should occupy their worlds. Young-ho shook his head. We did not fight this war to become conquerors. We fought to end the threat. The threat is ended, but they might rebuild their military eventually. Maybe, but if they do, they will remember what happened the last time they threatened peaceful worlds. And if they forget, Young-ho looked up at the stars. We will remind them. The war was over. The Valthek Empire had learned the truth about humanity. Humans do not fight to conquer. They fight to protect. And when they fight to protect, they do not stop until the threat is eliminated completely. Forever.